Hey y'all, welcome back. So as you've seen by the video title, today I want to talk about My Little Pony. I know that it is different. I really only ever talk about dolls on this channel with very few exceptions, but it's something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I do have some ponies that I've bought that I want to show off with you guys today. And I'm hoping that there's enough overlap between the doll collecting community and the My Little Pony collecting community for this video to be interesting for you guys. Obviously, if not, I'm sorry and I won't do it again. But yeah, I'm hoping that you guys will be as excited as I am, because I am really excited to be making this video. But I also have a lot of really complicated feelings. So like I said, I do have some ponies to show off, but that's going to be a little bit later in the video, because I do want to just talk about how I got here and the weird way that my brain works and all kinds of other stuff. So it's going to be a bit of a chit-chatty video. I hope that y'all are down for that. I guess only time will tell. But yeah, if you guys do like the video, if you could give it a like, that's very helpful to me. And then if you're new here and you enjoy your time, definitely subscribe so you can see more. If you are enjoying the pony content and you're subscribing in hopes that there will be more pony content, as long as it's not something that most of you guys hate, if there are enough of you who do want to see this, I'm happy to continue providing it. Y'all will just have to let me know what the feedback is there. So definitely leave me a comment about your feelings about me kind of branching out a little bit and doing other toy related stuff. This will always primarily be a doll channel, and I honestly shouldn't even say other toy stuff, because it's really just My Little Pony that's piqued my interest. But let me know if you're interested in that or not. Anyway though, that was a very long-winded way of getting into it. But now we really have to get into it, because I have never seen myself as someone who would be willing to collect My Little Pony. And I want to say up front, at the beginning of the video, or towards the beginning of the video, that I mean absolutely no offense to anyone who does love My Little Pony. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about G4 and why that prevented me from collecting for a while. And if you love Gen 4 of My Little Pony, I'm not here to judge you. That's not my problem, and I'm glad that you found something that makes you happy. It's just an issue within my brain. So to try to explain that a little bit, I don't know why. I have no idea why. I've mentioned this to so many people and everyone's just confused by it. But the way that my brain works is I make a lot of associations. So the best example that I could possibly give is music. I feel like a lot of people will like a song because they like the lyrics, or they like the beats, or they like the artist, something about that. And I do tend to like lyrics more than any other aspect of music, but I don't just hear a song on the radio or on TikTok and think, oh, this is a nice song, I want to listen to it again. Or I don't have a genre that it's oh, I like this genre, let me look for other artists who make this kind of music. I make associations, and that's how I like music. I promise this is going somewhere. So when I was younger, it was I would see AMVs, anime music videos, for those of you who didn't go through that phase. And if I liked the show, whatever song was playing, I liked. It could be any genre. It could be an objectively terrible song, but I would make the connection in my brain between the show that I already was super invested in and then the song. And forever in my head, that song and that show are completely linked. They're never gonna go away. I have several Breaking Benjamin songs on my Spotify playlist to this day that I discovered because I was watching Black Butler AMVs, which is such a funny thing to me to say in 2023, but here we are. And even to this day, even though it's been years since I was in high school and first seeing those and first making these discoveries, I cannot hear those songs without thinking of Black Butler. So my brain is really, really big on associations. And once I have linked two things together, even if they don't belong together at all, once my head has linked these two things together, they are there forever. I can't find a way to break it. It's actually extremely frustrating and very unhelpful. And My Little Pony is a great case in point for that, as far as why it's been really unhelpful, because I wasn't really into My Little Pony as a kid. I can't remember. I don't think that I ever had any My Little Ponies. If I did, it was only one or two, and I very much was not as interested in them as I was in Barbie dolls, for example. So it's not something that I hold a lot of nostalgia for. It's not something that I really grew up with. I definitely didn't see any media from My Little Pony when I was younger. So I don't have that playing into this. My introduction to My Little Pony was the G4 My Little Pony fandom. And again, if you are part of that fandom, I promise, like, I'm not trying to direct this at you, and I really am not judging you at all. But I do think that it's fair to say that the My Little Pony fandom does have kind of a rough reputation. And I'm not even saying that's fair. Like, I completely understand that probably some of the worst things that you hear are like one or two people, and 99.9% of the fandom is absolutely lovely to interact with. So again, please don't be upset if you like Gen 4 of My Little Pony or any generation of My Little Pony, but just that specifically. It's not that I'm trying to say I don't like you or I think you're a bad person. I just think that on the internet, especially at the time period that I was on the internet, it had a pretty rough reputation, and I was introduced to it via that reputation. And then to add on top of that, I have also met some people who were on the bad side of the Gen 4 My Little Pony fandom. Specifically, one of the rudest people that I've ever met in my life was a huge My Little Pony fan. He was obsessed with Gen 4 and has absolutely nothing to do with him being a man. I couldn't care less what gender you are and what you're into. He was just a very, very rude person, and he talked literally every day about how much he loved My Little Pony. So it was very hard for me to not make that link in my head between this man is very unpleasant to me and he loves My Little Pony. And so it kind of made a negative link in my brain between the two things, which is unfair, and I do know that. And again, I'm sure that all of you out there who might be seeing this are absolutely wonderful human beings. So please don't take that personally. It was just the one person that left a really bad taste in my mouth about My Little Pony, and again, Gen 4 specifically. And so I think it was very hard for me to even consider getting into it. It's like a lock in my brain where it's like, you can't get into this. You can't like this because of these associations that you already have. And I do think it's interesting because I think that the order in which I'm introduced to things has something to do with it. I'm so sorry if this is boring, by the way, but like, I'm already talking now, so we're just gonna keep going. But for example, I'm a really big My Hero fan, and I know that the My Hero fandom also does not have a good reputation. But for me, I wasn't introduced to the worst parts of the fandom until I was already a fan. So because I was already a fan, it was like, I was locked in, and I can absolutely acknowledge that there are some really terrible things to come out of the My Hero fandom, but I can still like it because I got to the material before I got to the fandom, if that makes sense. Whereas with My Little Pony, I got to the fandom, and especially the one guy that I knew, before I got to like enjoy it myself, and before I got to the actual ponies and media and everything like that. All of that to say that I've had a very negative association in my head for years with My Little Pony, and it makes me feel very guilty because I don't want to feel that way. Like in the wild, who am I? But like in the real world, if I'm to meet someone who's a My Little Pony fan, I assume that they are wonderful people and like on the good side of the fandom, so to speak. But just personally, it was like a block. It's like everyone else can love My Little Pony, and everyone else can be a wonderful fan who loves My Little Pony and can be wonderful people. But I can't like it. And I don't know why my brain works this way. I hope that I'm articulating myself clearly enough to get it across to you guys that it's very much a me thing. Like, this was all directed internally. So yes, there's just like this block in my brain of you are not allowed to like My Little Pony. That's how my brain works. It's like, once I have these associations, or sometimes even without them, it just makes up silly, goofy little rules that then I have to live with on my day-to-day. And one of those rules was you're not allowed to like My Little Pony, which is so sad and stupid, because I want to be able to enjoy it, and like I want to be able to engage in things without my head interfering in any way. So all of that to say that I have kind of been watching like haul videos and pony restoration videos and all sorts of stuff like that over the past couple of, I don't want to say a couple of months, probably like a month or so. And I've been enjoying it, and I have seen people who are lovely people within the fandom. And I finally decided, you know what, you need to try to break through this wall at least some, because you clearly want to enjoy this and you're just stopping yourself for literally no good reason. So I'm trying to like test the waters and trying to get into My Little Pony a little bit. I don't know that I will ever be able to get into Gen 4 just because I feel like there's locks in my brain and I don't have the keys. So until I have the keys, I feel like that is kind of locked away from me. I also don't think that just aesthetically it's my favorite generation anyway, so thankfully it doesn't necessarily matter as much, that I feel like I can't push past that boundary. But I have found that I really, really do like the Gen 3 ponies. And some of the G1 ponies are also really cool, but specifically G3 has like completely stolen my heart with these ponies. So I bought some, and I was immediately overcome with so much joy upon receiving my packages. I was so excited. So I know I made the right call. I know that this is something that I'm interested in, and I can like keep chipping away at that wall, and I can just hopefully enjoy things without judging myself, because it's like the way that other people doll collecting, because, you know, probably most of us, if not all of us, are doll collectors here. Other people will judge you for being an adult doll collector because it's childish or it's not worthwhile. There's 1,000 reasons that people will judge you for being an adult doll collector. And that I can usually push off just fine. But for some reason, sometimes my brain just turns it, and it's internal, and it's me shaming myself for liking things, and that's stupid and not fair. So now I have ponies that I can enjoy, and I'm just gonna let it happen. So I'm sorry, I know that was so long and probably way more information than any of you guys needed about my head, but I felt like it was important to understand where I'm coming from with this, and just like my background with My Little Pony in general. But yeah, there's some here that I'm really, really, really excited about, so I'm trying to pick which one I want to show you guys first. Okay, we'll just start with this one. So I will, towards the end of the video, or like somewhere in here, insert clips of more close-up images of the ponies so that you guys can see them better. But this first one is Wisteria. I think that's the right name. I'm gonna be so sad if I accidentally got the wrong names. I spent like a good chunk of time trying to memorize these because I care. She's got like really cute little flowers for her mark. And I just like the calm purple color scheme. It's really funny because, again, I don't think that I ever owned Gen 3 ponies or any ponies. And if I did, it wasn't enough to make a lasting impression on me. But these do make me feel nostalgic for like something that I never had, you know? Like I'm looking at them and they're just so soft and so cute and so kind looking. And I can't believe that I've been missing out on this for like years because I was judging myself. Ugh, I hate my brain sometimes, but we got over it in this case. She's very cute. They have like pearlescent skin, which is super lovely. These are all secondhand and pretty old, so they definitely do need to be cleaned up. Like I definitely need to wash the hair, and most of them have little marks on the body that I need to try to get off. I'm so excited. She's so cute. I'm not even like a purple person. I know there's people who obsess over the color purple. I'm not even a purple person, but she's so calming and so beautiful. It is funny to me because I feel like in all of the pony videos that I have been watching over the last month, people always talk about how high quality the hair is. And I'm not at all trying to say that it's bad, but right now, because it needs a wash, it's definitely not stunningly good. So I'm really excited to wash these so that hopefully it's just absolutely amazing. Like I'm really excited for that. But anyway, that is Wisteria. I have 4 total ponies to show you guys today. So that's 1 out of 4. Then we have the Gen 3 Fluttershy. Look at her. Look at her little butterfly. It's so cute. I love butterflies. And it's just so precious. And I love the colors. Her mane's really, really doing something here. It's kind of standing straight up because, again, it needs to be washed a little bit. She definitely does have staining on her body, but I'm pretty confident I can get that off. And I just like the colors with like kind of the light pink and yellow and purple. So cute. They're so precious. And they're just like small and tiny and like comforting. Oh my goodness. Okay. Then we have Spring Parade. And this one's interesting because this is like a much more saturated color to me than these two. Like the orange is very saturated and the green in some spots is like a very neon type of green. But even so, it feels so soft. Like it doesn't feel saturated. It feels soft and light and just happy. And she's got flowers for her mark. It's just so, so cute. I'm really excited to see how these hair colors blend once it's washed more properly. And this is such a fun color combination too, because like outside of actual flowers, I wouldn't normally think orange and green would be my go-to, but I love the color orange, so obviously I love the orange of her body, and the green actually is so, so nice. And then lastly, I'm trying to like display them all nice and cute. Lastly, I'm very excited. She probably needs the most help out of all of these, but also she's really good. This is Daffy Daisy, which is such a funny and cute name to begin with. And her mark, I don't know if they're technically called cutie marks in Gen 3. I tried to look it up and I got confused. So let me know if you know. But it's 3D. So it's like a little bead and then I don't know what kind of material it is, but it's material to make a little flower. There's no reason this should be this cute. Her head does rotate. And as far as I know, the heads aren't supposed to rotate. But I think she's okay. I don't see any signs of like rust or water damage or like hear anything when I shake her. That was my table if you heard something. But like she's fine. So I'm assuming everything's okay. She does have a lot of marks. Like again, I'll show you close-up footage at some point in this video. I'm not sure how I'll end up editing it, but I promise you will get to see it. But she's got like marks on her ears and stuff. And because she is a white pony, it all shows up a lot more, I feel like, than on an orange or a purple pony. But she's just so pretty and I'm really excited to get to try to like clean her up and kind of restore her a little bit. The tail does blend more with the colors, I feel like, just because it's in a smaller space. But all of the like rainbow of colors on her mane. She's so pretty and her hair is so long. I don't think any of the other ones had their hair cut. Like that seems like an appropriate length. I think she just has extra long hair, which I'm super excited about. So like once I get it properly restored, it's probably going to be so pretty. So clearly I'm excited. And again, I'm just upset that I've been depriving myself of this for who knows how long because, you know, my brain just don't be working right. But I'm really excited that I can at least get to this point now and I can enjoy it now. And I don't know if any of you guys will relate to what I'm saying in the sense of like wanting to be in a fandom, but for some reason limiting yourself or wanting to enjoy something, but imposing rules and judgment on yourself. If you do though, even if it's in a slightly different way than me, because I feel like it's very atypical the way that I'm thinking of this, I hope that this can help because it's something that I think is really hard to work on and really hard to undo, especially when you know that you might be receiving judgment from people outside, because I feel like it's so much harder to handle outside judgment when you also have internalized shame or guilt or anything like that. But if you can work through it, I feel like it's just so wonderful. Not even on the other side, because I don't feel like I'm fully out of it, but working towards getting out of that is so nice. Like I'm so excited to have these. They're just 4 little hunks of plastic at the end of the day, realistically, but they're so cute. And every time I look at them, I get excited. I'm like getting emotional. And so to me, that's worth it. Like that's worth the work that I had to do to untangle the knots in my little head to make myself be allowed to buy these, because they're just so nice and so cute. So I'm really excited that I can share these with you guys. I'm very happy to have them. And I definitely want so many more. So again, please let me know what your thoughts are on My Little Pony. And like, are you a fan? Do you relate to anything that I said? And mostly, will you be like into me making videos on these in the future? Because if not, I'll just collect them like for myself. That's totally fine. I don't want to be making content that you guys don't enjoy, because the whole point is that I'm trying to like produce something that you guys like. But if you do like it, I'm more than happy to kind of add these to my rotation and start doing some videos on My Little Pony. So just let me know. But I do hope you guys were able to enjoy. Okay, I know this is kind of a weird cut. I'm sorry, but I had to put the more close-up pony footage somewhere. I did think about just like detaching the audio from me talking and showing you guys and putting this image up instead, but I did want to show you like my authentic and genuine reaction to looking at these, because I just felt that it was nice and fun, and like hopefully that's the vibe you guys got as well. So please enjoy just the close-ups of the ponies here. As always, I do have in my description box down below my Amazon wish list and then my Instagram and my TikTok. So if you want to support me in other ways, you can definitely check those things out. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.